welcome to the Work-Life Balance Podcast. I am Kara.
And I am Maggie.
Together, we're a power real estate team with the Bogetti Partners in Nashville.
We believe that the hustle culture of today's driven entrepreneur who lives and works in Middle Tennessee
requires balance. With Kara and Maggie.
Welcome back.
It's been a minute, so we're excited to jump back on here and kind of figure out where we've been and what the heck's going on with the market and our lives and the brokerage and all the things above.
It's been a hot minute.
It's
been like at least a couple months.
God, don't say that.
Sorry, we took a little hiatus. We were busy. Forgive us.
We've always said our priority is real estate, and the podcast is fun, but if we have to put a little pause on it, then I think that's what we've been doing.
Which we are trying to get back on the wagon. Yeah. So
we're back.
Stay tuned for more episodes because we're back. But yeah, we have had a lot of changes lately. So we just want to talk about the changes that have happened here and just like in the real estate market as a whole and kind of coming changes too. So
So I think because it has been a little bit of time and we're now in, the end of summer. Mm-hmm. The biggest change, obviously, the biggest change has obviously been what happened on August 17th. And for all of you realtors out there, you know what I'm talking about, and obviously the consumers do too. But that was a big pivot point for all of us in the market and how we as agents talk about commissions and compensations. And so that's been like a big learning curve for all of us here. We've had lots of meetings. We've had the president and the CEO of our local chapter come in and educate us. So we can share kind of what we are doing with that and how it's changed our business model. But I know everybody's different.
It'd probably be good to kind of tell the people, too, that don't know what's going on, what it is from, like, a realtor's point of view rather than just, like, what everybody's seeing in the media. Because I feel like everything that's out there right now is so negative about it when it's not necessarily a negative thing.
No, and it's not even completely resolved. So we're all kind of in a gray area of trying to figure it out. Yeah. And it's funny because when it first started really exploding, I told you, I was like, stop watching Instagram. Because it was every naysayer, bad mojo agent in town, just negative. It was like, this is not good. This isn't going to work for us.
Before we even really knew what was going on.
Yeah, and we don't look at it like that. It's actually a very positive change, right?
It's been a weird change for me, but we'll talk about why.
Yeah.
Do you want to kind of explain what it is?
I can, sure. Okay. So, in a nutshell, because it can be too much, but so basically, the skinny is they had the big lawsuit against all these agents and brokerages. So they now want it to be very transparent on how we are being paid. So, long story short, agents have always been able to negotiate our commissions.
Always.
You might not see it on the buyer's side because you just technically think that the seller's paying for it. But actually, the reason the house is priced like that is because they already have the 3% commission or 6% commission included in that sales price that they're putting it on the market.
Right.
So you don't really, as a buyer, really physically think you're paying for it, but you are, and you always have. And as agents, we're the ones that are responsible to say what we're willing to pay the buyer's agent. Well, now that is done. Yeah. So it is basically the buyer's agent saying, my value is X amount of money. And so it's now just more of an open conversation than it is just already in the listing agreement and already on MLS. So it can no longer be on there. So that's just been the biggest change is now it's an actual conversation instead of you like just seeing it's a 3% commission. Cool, I'm showing it today.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't show you that. So, there's different steps as agents have to take to make sure that we're paid.
Yeah.
And whoever's paying that needs to be taught. It needs to be an open conversation.
Absolutely.
Prior to.
And in action on like a day-to-day, really the only changes that happen are you can't see it on MLS, you can't see what you're being offered, and you have to have a buyer representation agreement before you can show the home, like Kara's saying. Yep. So it's really just making it more obvious to buyers now than it was before. Like, you don't just go show a house without talking about commission anymore. Right. Which, 9 times out of 10 with what I've seen, sellers are still offering it. Yeah. I don't know if that will change later on, but it's really just been an open conversation. And I was really one of these people that was nervous about it in the beginning because that's never been the way that I've done it. That's not the way I learned to do it. Like, you're just, oh yeah, you want to see this house? Let's go. And then you work it out later, right? Yeah. But now it's having that conversation on the front end and really having to get to the nitty gritty with your buyers before you even step into a house. But I've really had some positive like feedback on it. I haven't really had anybody give pushback. I've really actually realized too that buyers really do recognize the value that real estate agents bring to them.
Absolutely.
Which before I didn't think that. And I guess now it's more so just being able to articulate your value to people, which
and that's
no big deal.
That's can be hard for some people though. Whenever you talk about money, it's an awkward conversation.
Always.
You know, so it's like, let's just say for example, it's the very first time you meet these people, Zillow especially.
Yeah.
You meet them at a house you've never met. You've talked for like 5 seconds on the phone. And then you're supposed to say, hey, by the way, somebody's got to pay me. Like, you got to sign this before I can even open the door. And how are we going to work on this? Like, you know, so it's totally awkward. And not all agents have that confidence of one, their value that they bring, but how to actually speak about it.
Right.
So I can see how it's...
well, and it's hard, too, to articulate your value in a business that people are always trying to cut you down in, right? Sure. Like, people are always trying to mitigate the value that realtors bring. So then whenever you actually have to talk about it, it can be tough sometimes. But I think this whole thing has made me much better at talking about it, and everybody else in here for sure. And it'll be a problem for people that aren't really prepared and preparing themselves for what's coming next. But I think it's fine.
And I think we always say, like, sometimes it's good to clean house. And, you know, there's a lot of agents that have been just, oh, you want to write an offer? I'm here to write it. But they're not doing they're not doing anything for their clients. And so those people probably will kind of fade out. And the strong will survive. And it's important to be knowledgeable in it, though, because, you know, we've talked to other people that, other lenders that have came in, and they're like, he was at another brokerage, and they have not even talked about or how they're going to approach this, or even really went to any seminars or learned or anything. And I'm like, hell no. Yeah. Like, we have to know, because it's the new law. Like, we don't have a choice. So we've really been, I feel like we've been drilling it. Like,
oh yeah.
You know, like, we've had a lot of conversations.
Interesting to see too how other brokerages are handling it. It's really interesting because we're trying to get ahead of it.
Absolutely. And 100%. We have been since the beginning of the summer. We didn't wait till August 17th and it's like, okay, now let's learn about it. Like, we really, I think, got ahead of the curve. Oh,
beginning of the year, as soon as we heard about it, we started learning about it. And really, at its core, just for everybody, like, it is a lawsuit on steering. It's not a lawsuit against this agent versus this agent. It's just a matter of people, okay, if a real estate agent sees two houses next to each other, one's offering 3%, one's offering 2%, they're probably going to show you 3% first.
It's terrible.
Right?
It's a terrible thing, but that is true. A lot of agents do that.
It sucks, but it's true.
But I can honestly, hand to God, I've never done that, Maggie.
I haven't either, honestly.
Ever. Like, that has never been a way I've done my business. Because guess what? At the end of the day, you're serving your client. And if you're money driven, you're in your own way and you're not doing them any service.
Oh, yeah. But we've seen it.
Oh, 100%.
On first hand, we have seen agents be like, if you're not offering me a 3%, I'm not showing your property, period.
I have a text message showing that exact thing. And I wrote back, what did I say? But
that's unfortunate or
that's
something
very
like
unfortunate
that.
You run your business like that.
Yeah.
Because honestly, don't bring me an offer. I don't even want to work with you.
No.
Like, how crazy is that?
That's crazy. But it's true. Yeah. And I mean, I think we're handling it pretty well. Like I said, I think it's been honestly more of a positive thing than a negative thing. Yeah. Scared in the beginning, but after doing multiple of them now, it's really no big deal.
Right. And I think at the end of the day, like, we do bring a lot of value. We have a great buyer's guide. And if anybody wants to message us, we'll give it to you for free. Like, it's just a beautiful tool that we've created. Well, Maggie spent a lot of time creating it. And it's page by page on, like, really what the value we bring as buyer's agents. And we're working on the seller's agents one also right now. But it's just, like, in black and white, easy to read. Here's what we bring to the table. This is why we feel like we should be compensated. And, I mean, you know, agents out there, I think you should all do that, because it might be easier for a client to take home at night and be like, okay, let me read. Like, this is what the process looks like. This is all the time and energy they're going to be putting into making this happen for us. So
honestly, like, I went to a listing appointment yesterday, and I think it's really going to be about agents having other agents back too, and like explaining the value that a buyer's agent really does bring. Because I was at a listing appointment yesterday, and I told them, I'm like, look, buyer's agents do a lot for these buyers, not only just spinning your wheels, but if you have a buyer that doesn't know what they're doing, just representing themselves or maybe having a facilitator at the very least, what is the likelihood that you're going to get a repair list of a million things versus a realtor working with them and talking to them through like everything and sending you a repair list that has maybe 5 things on it versus 100. And it can seem like there's somebody on the other side negotiating against you, but really they are there to help the deal go smooth and educate the buyers, because there is a lot that goes into that, and really helping your buyer know what's going on. And that can take a lot of time, from documents to showings to negotiations. Like, it's a lot.
At the end of the day, if you don't have a buyer, you can't sell a house. So there's so much value in the buyer. Like, you can be a great home on the market, but if you're not if you don't have buyers coming to look at it because you're being, not a team player in another way, that's really just a detriment to the seller.
And like Kara said, at the end of the day, the buyer's always been the one to bring the commission. Because they're the one bringing the loan, which is giving you the money to sell the house.
Correct.
So
they just have never looked at it like that.
No, you're just looking at it because it shows on the Alta statement at the very end. It shows it as a seller's expense. So that's just how it's ingrained in your mind. But again, it's just educating sellers and educating buyers, and we'll get to where we need to be. So it's fine.
I know. So I think I just think that change is scary, and if you just pivot, and I feel like here we do a good job at pivoting. We're all just like, okay, let's do it. We all have a common goal, and that's to sell the damn house and get our clients what they need. So here we are.
Well, in our real estate market, over just the time that, you and I have been together, obviously I didn't know much about it before I got into it with you, but it's been freaking crazy. The ups and downs that we've seen in 2 years, have been wild. We went from when I first started to having 3% interest rates, and they've been as high as like 7.5%, 8%. This past year. So it's been like, woo.
You're getting a good taste of it all, like in a very short amount of time. Usually it's like 7-year swings.
Nope.
No, you're like, here, I'm going all in.
Handed me my cards on that one for sure.
So that's another, I guess we could pivot into that conversation, because I think too, that's just such a common question. And I'm sure you hear it on a daily. What's going on with the interest rates? What's going on with the market? And it's not that it's a generic answer, but it is an election year, I know. And historically, that's kind of shown that the market's always kind of got a little fluffy around this time. So the rates have been going down. We're waiting. I guess the feds are talking next week, but from what I understand, that's only going to really affect the HELOCs and the auto loans, which is great because the auto loans are ridiculously high.
Oh, they're crazy.
Crazy high. So I guess that's good. And HELOCs, I just got quoted, and it was like $8.99. So that's...
Which is not as bad as they have been.
They were up to 10 a couple months ago when I first looked into them. So those have went down, so that might be nice if those go down a little bit more.
I had one buyer get a 4.99 on a loan, and I had another person get quoted... because I think the builder bought down the rate on that one. And then I had another just conventional buyer get quoted a 6 and a 5.9. So
okay,
that's really good.
I think that's fair. I guess we were so used to that 3%, which was completely abnormal.
Completely.
Like if you find a common ground in that 5-6 range, I feel like that's a good interest rate.
Yeah.
So if they can find somewhere to land in there, I think we're going to see buyers start to move a little bit.
Well, it makes a huge difference. Just 1 point on your loan that could equal $500 a month, which is huge.
Right.
So depending on how big your loan is, all that. I'm not a lender. Ask a lender.
Yeah,
but
ask a lender.
Ask a lender, but it can make a really big difference. And I've talked to 3 or 4 people that, myself included, that bought a house not too long ago and are already refining, because it makes sense. You're saving so much money, even though it's only dropped maybe half a point or a point.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal.
Well, that you're saving, she's being modest, but she's saving a substantial amount a month.
Yeah, little tidbit. Sold a townhouse, was able to convert a house that I just bought from a conventional loan to an FHA loan, which gave me a better interest rate and less PMI, and it's saving nearly $900 a month on my mortgage, which is absolutely crazy.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
So again, matters who you work with, because our lenders are badass, and Jim obviously did amazing for you on that. Mm-hmm. But also to be educated on what most people wouldn't think, like, oh, you can refi immediately from a conventional FHA. So
And you can.
And you can, proven fact.
Yeah, you can.
So, I mean, again, like we always say, hashtag, who you work with matters. It's truth. It is 100% true.
For sure.
For sure.
For sure.
So what else is going on? What else you got cooking over there?
Oh my gosh. I feel like we've just had the craziest year. Like you said earlier at the beginning of the podcast, it's the end of summer. I can't even believe that. Like, I feel like we just made our episode of beginning of 2024 and recap of 2023 yesterday. And now it's like we just blinked and we're here.
We're moving into fourth quarter already, which is wild.
Oh my gosh, don't tell me that.
I know.
That's crazy.
You go to the store and it's like flipping Christmases up. I'm like, are you kidding me? You're just jumping past
right past Halloween
and Thanksgiving, and now we got trees.
I know. That's so funny. But I mean, it's just been, I mean, I know that you feel this way, and I definitely feel this way. Like, if you're a client and you're listening to us, I feel so grateful. Like, this year has been insane, and we haven't been able to do our podcast because we've been very busy, which, I mean, to think from 2 years ago when we started this thing to be where we're at, I would have never thought we would be here.
This fast? Yeah.
No.
Well, and it's, you know, when you're in, like, the thick of it and you're not really paying attention to the day in, day out of what you're really doing, which is a beautiful thing when you look back. And she likes to sneak and, like, take a peek and see,
sorry.
And I'm like, no, it's like a little Christmas gift. Yeah. Like, how many did we sell? And so we're not going to share that until we do our recap. But she threw the number at me last week, and I was like,
Carol's like, that's not true.
There's no way. And that's not even the brokerage and all. That was just stuff for you and I.
Yeah.
And it was like, holy cow, you know?
It's almost surreal.
It's amazing. And I'm so proud of, like, the hustle and the grind that, you know, we've done this year. And I think it's, you know, it has a lot to do with us. Like, we really put the time in. Because then you hear the negative, you know, everybody, oh my God, it was the shittiest year. So slow. And, like, for us, we know right now moving into fourth quarter, whatever we do right now sets us up for first quarter. 100%. And we had a hell of a first quarter last year where most people didn't sell, I know a few offhand, didn't sell a house until June. So, like, that's a lot of time of no sales. Like, that, you know. So it really matters the time and energy you're putting in the fourth quarter of the year that's going to set you up for success for next year.
Yeah, and I know Kara's more spiritual than religious, but I was telling Bianca this, which we'll talk about, like, brokerage differences from beginning of year to now after this. But I was telling Bianca, which is a girl that works with us earlier this morning, it's about the activity that you put in every single day. Because I genuinely believe that real estate, and, like, if you're an entrepreneur, it's a God thing. Like, if you're sitting there every day doing what you have to do consistently, like, stuff will pop up for you, right? So even if you're just passing out door knockers or, you know, just random things, just making cold calls and you feel like you're getting nowhere, like, it all will compound. And, I mean, at some point the dam is going to burst and everything's going to, like, flow for you. Which is exactly what Kara's saying. Like, what you're doing right now is going to come to fruition in January or February.
Correct.
And if you're still doing everything day in and day out rather than just being like, oh, well, I'm just slow right now, so I'm going to wait till something falls in my lap.
No.
Like, you can't wait on something to happen.
And we always say, like, when you're the busiest is when you need to work the hardest.
Yes.
Because you cannot wait until you are slow to get the momentum going again.
Yeah.
Then you've wasted all that time, and it takes a little bit to get it going again.
It does.
Prime example, Wendy. She is on fire right now.
She is.
And it's because she's been putting in the work, and it's all falling into place. You know, like, she's going on another listing appointment today. She's showing my property. Like,
she's killing it right now.
She is, and it's like she's living off that high of, hey, those pay checks are looking good.
Yeah.
I'm putting in the work, and it's paying.
Absolutely.
It's paying itself. So, I mean, I love that. And it feels good, like, when you know that you put the work in when you're busy to continue to create that.
For sure. I mean, I heard somebody on TikTok a long time ago. I don't even remember who it was at this point, but it's like the best thing that you can do for your business, and one thing that you have to do for your business every day is prospect. Because you can get so wrapped up in the inspection period and appraisal and, like, all the things that are going on with the deals that you have. That's why you have to have a transaction coordinator, pass off the paper pushing, and continue to prospect. Because we're good at selling real estate and not paper pushing. So you got to keep the ball rolling, doing the activities, even if you feel like you're getting nowhere with it. Like, it matters.
It matters.
So
I think that's, like, a fun thing too for us, the brokerage in the last 6 months, 4 months. I don't know. I feel like it's all kind of like snowballing, but
3
we brought on
months.
some new agents. So how many of us are there now?
There's Ricky, Marissa, Wendy, you, me, obviously, Eva, Jonathan, Bianca. There's 8 of us now.
There's it, and Jenna.
And Jenna, there's 9.
So there's 9. So we have grown quite substantially lately. So hopefully we'll be able to do some intros with the new ones. We have been releasing some on social media, the new, just with our social content pages, days. But it's exciting changes over here. And I think it's just, again, we have a goal of growth and, bringing on agents that have the same
mindset.
Yeah, as us. And it's fun and it's exciting and we're growing out of our little space, but I don't want to move anywhere. So we're just going to stay put right here.
We're just going to have a million people piled in here.
We're just going to have a million people coming here, but it's so cozy and I love the location and it's just fun.
It's so funny because, Kenny, y'all have met Kendrick, the office mate.
Yep.
I think Kendrick is getting a little overwhelmed. He's like, there's a million people here now. Like, it used to just be Kara and I, and we started off at your living room table, and our podcast was in your living room, and now there's too many people in here to fit. It's very nice to see and watch, and it's awesome. But
it's good. Growth is good, and it's just a wonderful group of people.
And we started a mentorship program too.
That is true. We did, and that's pretty cool. If you follow us on Instagram, you'll see that we've kind of been marketing that a little bit, and we're going to market it some more. Yeah. But it's basically just new agents or even older agents that just want that support, and it's just how long is it? A 4-month program?
The revamp, 3 or 4.
3 or 4 month program. It's basically just once a week highlighting a part of the contract or a disclosure or repairs or whatever. Just really getting into the skinny of what this paperwork looks like so you feel more confident as a new agent or maybe an agent that just hasn't been taught the ins and outs of the contract. So it's pretty cool. We've got Bianca's our first, and then we've had some, we just had a gal come in and kind of watch our meeting on Monday, and I don't know if she's going to choose to come here or not, but slowly but surely launching that. So I think it's cool.
And it's really important too, I know Kara and I kind of hold each other accountable a lot of times too, but it's nice to have somebody there to be like, okay, what are you doing today? Bianca called me this morning. She's like, hey, she's a nurse too, didn't end up going to work. What should I be doing today? And I give her a list of 5, 6, 7 ideas of things to do. Don't just sit around okay, I'm going to hold you accountable. Yeah. You text me anytime. Call me anytime you need, an answer on something or ideas. And it's just nice to have people there behind you that want you to grow too and
absolutely
do good for yourself and not do good for them, because that's a huge thing too.
It's big, and I think that sets us apart too, because we do care that everybody is succeeding. Yeah. And so you take time out of your day to answer questions that you don't need to be answering, that you could be pushing to me or whatever, but you really truly believe in these agents and that they're going to grow and they're going to kill it. And I feel like we're stronger together.
Agreed.
And it's a synergy in here that it's unmatched to any other agency.
I think so.
I've worked in multiple agencies, not multiple, but 2 other ones. And from big to medium to this boutique. And it's a different, it's just different. The gal that came in on Monday, she used to be at Remax, and she's like, it just didn't feel right. You didn't have broker support. You didn't, you couldn't get a hold of them on the phone. It's just a totally different vibe. Yeah. And it's just depends on the person you are. If you want that and you don't need all that, that's maybe your place. But if you want the synergy and the fun energy that we have in here too.
It's important.
I think
so. The camaraderie,
100%.
Good energy. I feel like I'm so proud of not only just us, but everybody here. I feel like even from Wendy, you mentioned her, but Marissa and Ricky too have grown so much and done so many good things. And Ricky has a huge deal under contract right now that he got off the market, and just the fire and having other people around you that are doing good things, obviously is going to push you to do that. Yeah. I told Kara the other day, I'm we got to have some healthy competition. Yeah. Let's start making a game out of it and see who can sell the most, and not as a competition thing, but just to push each other.
I think everybody
make
needs
each other
that.
Better.
Yeah, we've got to think about that. And what's the the awards and all that. I think that's kind of fun.
I want a Firebirds gift card, Kara.
This one's obsessed. If you know what Firebirds is,
Go eat their Caesar salad.
I love Caesar salad. I gotta go try it.
Obsessed, but no, I'm just so proud, and we really had to hop on here today. One, to get ourselves back in the groove and talk about everything.
We're back. We're not going anywhere. We've just been really busy, and that, like we said, it's just a positive thing. But unfortunately, the pod gets pushed back, but we're here to share our wealth of knowledge on whatever the hell was going on in the market.
And we'll start coming back with some good guests too. We've got a few in mind that we really want to try to get, and just like better topics like we typically do, rather than just like catching up type of thing. But it's good sometimes to just get on here and kind of bullshit a little bit.
It is good to bullshit. You see our true colors. But I think also that NAR settlement was probably a good thing we talked about, because we've been really consumed with it, just making sure, we know what we're doing. So it probably was a good thing for y'all to know and talk about too. And, we're here to support too, and message us, and we'll share what our process is looking like with that. If you want the buyer's guide, that's available. I mean,
anything. Text us, call us anytime. Y'all know where to reach us.
Y'all know where we're at.
Y'all know where to reach us. And we've really been going off on social media lately, too. We've been doing really good about that. All the things. We're just growing over here.
Just
we're
growing.
Just doing better.
Just making shit happen.
But no, it was good to talk to you. I feel like I haven't talked to you in a long time.
We literally share an office. We talk 20 times a day. But we never get to sit down and just word vomit.
Yeah.
It's
always work.
Did you show this property? What happened to this one? Did you call this person back?
I know. Just all work. All work, no fun these days.
Damn it, we need to
get back to fun.
We need to get back to fun.
Well, I guess like, share, subscribe.
All the good things.
And we'll see y'all next time.